But if you're buying an asset like a multifamily and you're actually borrowing the money, your multifamily is able to pay the mercenaries off. But if you're buying a car on credit and you're using the loan and you have to pay the mercenaries off, you're killing your baby money soldiers to pay for that. Hello and welcome to the Happy Money Podcast. On today's show, we're going to be discussing how you talk about personal finance with your children. I'm going to hold up a couple of props I'm going to be using today. We're going to be talking about baby money soldiers and how it's such an easy concept, a simple concept to teach your children and young adults all about personal finance. But before we start, I would love it if you took out a second to like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out to continue to grow the channel. Now, Michael, this is one of my favorite topics. You know why?
Why is that?
Because as I was growing up, I played with toy soldiers, and I think I rubbed off. And how many do we have? I probably
Way too many.
To you. There's no such thing as way too many toy soldiers. And people might be saying to themselves, toy soldiers, money, finance. And for me, trying to teach kids, young adults about finance can be really confusing. You can get overwhelmed with all the different technical terms. But what I found is if you can really lay a foundation and make them understand how money works and using little props and using toys, I found it to be really helpful and beneficial. So do you mind if I just jump in and describe and discuss what a baby money soldier is?
Go ahead.
So a baby money soldier, think about it. I got the book here. I'm going to hold it up. I wrote a book. You go on Amazon, check it out. Now, this is my big toy soldier. Now, this baby money soldier, it symbolizes every single dollar that comes into your life is a baby money soldier. Every dollar. You are the financial general of that battlefield. And I think what happens, most people don't understand that they don't have responsibility over their dollars. They don't really treat them as that $1 and saying to themselves, wow, I have the power to use that dollar in any way I want, right? So what ends up happening is a dollar comes in and you need to really focus on the dollar, how you allocate it. We're going to get into that, right? Where does it go? Expense, savings, retirement, whatever that looks like. But if you look at yourself as the general, you're the general here, and you are actually looking at your financial battlefield and you're allocating resources. Once you start thinking like that, Mike, everything starts to change because you have control over your dollars. And what most people do wrong, at least in my estimation, is they're like, well, I don't have enough money. I don't make enough money. You can have $100 million in baby money soldiers. You can have $1,000 in baby money soldiers. If you don't allocate them properly, you're at risk of losing all of your baby money soldiers.
I think one of the biggest things that I see is you have a lot of people that call into radio shows. They write letters to these people and they say, I make all this money, $200,000-$300,000, and yet I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, why is that? Because they're not allocating their money in such a way that, they're basically just burning off everything they make. Mm-hmm. They don't know where it's going. They're probably throwing it onto a vacation, into cars, into these crazy big payments. Mm-hmm. Before you know, you make $30,000 a month, but you've got $30,000 a month in payments. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, there's no wonder you're broke. You're not properly saying this money needs to go here.
So what you're trying to do with this baby money soldier, the idea is to try to create more baby money soldiers. You're trying to procreate them. What you're talking about is they are actually killing their baby money soldiers. So if we look at a person's total financial picture, you're looking at expenses, you're looking at income. Let's break it down even more granularly for people. So you have that $1. Percentage of that baby money soldier, of that dollar, has to go to your operating expenses. You got to pay for food, clothes. Typically, they say 1/3. So 1/3 is basically wiped out, gone. But you still got 70% of that left. So what do people do? You had just said something very interesting. People go on vacations. They buy jewelry. That's a luxury. You're killing that baby money soldier even before you have the ability for it to grow.
For it to go somewhere.
Yes.
And like you said, even with jewelry and stuff, that's generally you have to go and buy it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times you have recurring payments.
Yes.
Right. So you've got the cars, you've got the fancy gadgets here and there. And so when you buy those on credit, you kind of have to pay those back. It's no longer a conscious decision to actually pay.
I love that, because what you're saying is, I didn't have this situation when I was growing up. There's a lot of monthly recurring payments, and those baby money soldiers are getting killed every month.
Yes.
They're not allowed to grow.
We don't even know. We don't check our statements. We don't check our accounts.
And so the next one, so you talk about expenses. The next category is saving. So you want to save some of those baby money soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Put them in reserve. You don't want to let them all go out onto the battlefield, because the next one is investing, actually. Investing, what you're trying to do is you're trying to invest your baby money soldiers so they grow and they create more baby money soldiers. Whether it's you're putting money in the bank and you're creating interest, if you put $100 in the bank and you earn 4% interest, you just created an additional 4 baby money soldiers.
Yeah.
What you want to do with those $4 is you want to invest those again to continue to grow. But what do people do? They take those $4 of baby money soldiers and they kill them. So they don't give them the opportunity to continue to grow. You remember the story of the amp?
Yeah, how could I forget?
Okay. How did that relate to baby money soldiers?
So I think one of the biggest things is I had a certain amount of money in the bank and I wanted to go buy a specific guitar amp. And I think it was like a third of my net worth at the time when I was 16.
Was that a lot?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a lot. I think it was too much for me.
I put the hammer down. I put my foot down. I said, you want to spend $1,200 for an amp?
No, it was more than that. Probably 2 G's at the time.
2 G's?
Yeah.
And was it a need or was it a want?
Oh, it was totally a want.
So you were going to kill those $2,000 worth of baby money soldiers.
Oh, absolutely.
So what ended up happening?
So instead, Papa G told me, okay, go invest your money somewhere. Go make it do something for you.
Let me know how that felt. How did that feel as a young 15/16-year-old boy when your father tells you, no, you can't buy that thing. You need to invest? What were you honestly thinking?
So the first thing was like, is what the hell? This is my money. This is not your money. You're not giving me the money to buy the amps. I'm like, why would I listen to that? I think ultimately I made the conscious, because it was my money. I made the decision to say, I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to listen to your advice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So walk me through the pain of, in your mind, giving me your money when it's not, you're really not giving me the money. You're just funneling the money from me and me putting it into an investment and you owning that investment. How did that feel?
I remember I had texted you. This might have been 2017 or 18, and it was a tough feeling. I know you had texted me and you said all the money is gone in the account, and I'm sitting there thinking, shoot, I got to start all over again. I have no more money left in my account.
So in your mind, you killed the baby money.
I killed everything. Yeah,
you killed $2,000 worth of baby money soldiers, but you had 5 in the bank. You gave me 2, so you had $3,000.
I think I gave you all 5.
Huh? You did. I'm sorry, you did give me all 5.
Yes.
Because the 2 is, so you gave me all of it. So that's the crazy part. It's scary in the beginning to be able to have all your baby money soldiers go out onto the battlefield. It's risky, but you did it because you knew that it was a great investment. You knew that I was a good steward of the money. So you unleashed it, and you were early on, and it was a good idea because you were able to take that risk. And that $5,000, we'll fast forward a couple of years. What ended up happening to that first investment?
Oh, it grew into maybe 9 or 10. It grew to a lot. Completely different story.
You more than doubled your money within the first couple of years, probably more because we sold a couple of properties. So you've got some money back. You actually refinanced some money. So that $5,000 investment has grown to over a 7-figure net worth, which is really cool. You've exploded your baby money soldiers because of a couple things. Well, you're lucky you live at home and Papa takes care of you. So you don't have to kill a lot of those, which is fine, which is what I want. But I wanted to cement that idea in your mind that you need a little bit of time to allow your baby money soldiers to grow. In a real estate investment, you had cash flow every month. So the properties were actually cash flowing every month and you were collecting baby money soldiers every month. Plus, there was equity growth from the properties. When we refinanced the property, we were able to pull out additional baby money soldiers. Then what we ended up doing was we ended up buying another deal. So you took those baby money soldiers and we conquered another property. Think of the game Risk, how you go and you keep buying properties. That's exactly what you were doing with your baby money soldiers. But this time, as you were growing more, what were you doing? You were putting some in the back.
Some away.
Some away. You weren't allocating them all onto the battlefield. That's important to understand. You're still having fun. And then what happens when we close a deal now? What do you do to yourself? You reward yourself a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's funny. You put something down here about how you have to treat yourself. It took me years to get over the mentality. I'm only 23, so years for me is 16 to 23, right? It took me forever to get over the fact that I have to be able to enjoy my money. Like, I think it was looking at this one guitar, and I think we can get it on the screen right now. It took me a good 5 years to say, let me go and buy this specific one. Because in my mind, I'm like, I got to put everything away. I got to save for the next investment, this, that, and the other thing. And I finally said, you know what? No, I'm gonna burn a little bit. I've got some money to spend.
Do you know why though? Early on, you don't want to kill your baby money soldiers too early because they won't grow.
Yeah.
So what you've done, and I really applaud you for this because I struggled with this too as part of the money coaching. That's why I'm becoming a certified money coach, because I have a struggle with the money sometimes. Like, why don't I want to spend money on myself? It's important because I've been conditioned to save to buy an asset. And I wanted to condition you to be able to do that because once you have that asset that's producing baby money soldiers, you can say to yourself, oh, I'm going to allocate some of those soldiers to some luxuries. I want to treat myself. Whereas we were talking to somebody, Daniel, yesterday on the call. Do you remember what Daniel said yesterday?
Go ahead, remind me.
So on the call yesterday, he said in this country, we're taught to consume first.
Yes.
And then from our consumption, if there's anything left to save, we're done. Whereas in most other cultures, especially the Italian culture, we're taught to save and to produce. And then from that, we consume. And that's what I think the mentality of the baby money soldiers is. You want to save your baby money soldiers. You still need some, but you don't want to overconsume. You want to be able to allocate them, put them on the financial battlefield, let them take over deals for you, let them invest into assets, have those assets create more dollars, more baby money soldiers, use those for luxuries and for expenses, and allocate some of those to conquering and buying more assets.
He said something interesting too yesterday when we had this call. He said no one in America talks about how much they make. They always kind of keep that a secret. Yes. And whenever you bring that up, I actually asked somebody, we were talking about a new position, and I could see he got very uncomfortable when I asked him, hey, how much is this salary and that and the other thing. And so it's interesting because I didn't really grow up like that. Everyone kind of knew how much everyone made, especially now. I have all of our draw statements. I see how much everyone makes. It's like, okay. Yes. Like, I don't think more or less of that person, right? That's not the way we're supposed to think about it. But I think that the problem is that there's a personal worth that we have when it comes to how much we make. And we associate that with other people and with ourselves. And so if I make XYZ salary, okay, someone might think better or worse of me compared to this other person who makes a better or worse salary. And so it comes down to how do we kill that mindset, right?
How do we kill that mindset?
Well, the first thing is recognizing our net worth is not our personal worth. That's two completely different things, right? I mean, your personal worth is one thing. Your personal worth is something extraordinary, right? You're probably not going to get a big bank loan with just your personal worth. You got to have some assets on there, right? For the same thing, someone with $100 million net worth is the same worth of a person as somebody with a negative $100 million net worth.
You're talking about money coaching once again. And if they want to learn more on money coaching, those are some of the patterns that you create early on. Some people may be doing that, maybe associating their net worth with their personal worth and saying, hey, if I don't make more money, I'm not worthy. And I'm going to here to tell you, Mike, people think that they're going to solve their problems through money. The more money I make, the easier it'll get for me. That's not the case. I'm not telling you that the more baby money soldiers you're going to make, life's going to get easier, because the next way you can use baby money soldiers is you need protection. All of a sudden, you've got all of these baby money soldiers running around. You need LLCs. You need life insurance. You need home, all different ways to protect your baby money soldiers. So it's interesting. It's important that you learn that aspect of it. But when going back to the personal worth and the net worth, you have to cut the two away. And you have to understand that every single one of us on the planet was created for a unique and special purpose. And I think if we can find that out and lean into it and really show up with our true passion, guess what happens? You start making more baby money soldiers. It's just inevitable, because you start doing what you love. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you start creating more value. And the more value you create, the more people buy your product, and the more people buy into you, the more baby money soldiers start coming into your life. And I think this show right now is just showing ways to allocate the value and the money that's coming into your life.
Yeah. Because I think, again, like you said, kind of going back to that example of the more money you make, the happier I'll be, the better I'll be. Like, if that was the case, people who make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year and still living paycheck to paycheck are probably nowhere near as happy as you think they would be, right?
I agree. Three other ways that I like to share. The next one, we never talk about it, but using some of your baby money soldiers for education. Aren't we using it right now to create the Amazon store? Or do you think we're just smart enough where we're going to start it? You allocate a percentage of that to continue education, whether you're joining a mastermind, whether you're doing money coaching with us, whether you're joining a group, whether you're learning a skill, whether you're going to college. Yeah. You need to use some of your baby money soldiers. They're going to die, right? Yeah. You spend it, but it's an investment in yourself, and it will come back, I think, tenfold if you invest in yourself.
Which is interesting, because there's this big mindset around going to college and going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt. When you take a step back and you say, hey, let me join this mastermind for $1,000 a year, maybe even if you want to go crazy, 10 grand a year, whatever that is. When you really take that into consideration, that's significantly cheaper. And I'm using cheaper intentionally than going to college and getting a 4-year degree. And so there's this weird connection between the college mindset and between the actually putting something else. Because the people who go to college, most of them, I would imagine, don't really use a degree. Like, how often do you hear, I went to school for this and now I'm doing this other thing? I went to medical school and now I'm in finance. I went to, to get a theology and philosophy degree. Now I'm working in real estate. You know what I mean? It's very, and then, before you know, you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and you're trying to pay that off now, right?
So what happens is you're the general, the financial general of your battlefield, and you've decided I'm going to take out $200,000 in baby money soldiers to go to college. And then all of a sudden, and what I would call that money you've taken out, you've actually just enlisted mercenaries from the bank. And mercenaries, you have to pay those mercenaries. And it's the same thing in when you're buying a home. Look at a loan as you're hiring mercenaries. There's a cost to it. 4%, 5%, whatever the interest is. So you've got to pay for those mercenaries. But if you're buying an asset like a multifamily and you're actually borrowing the money, your multifamily is able to pay the mercenaries off. But if you're buying a car on credit and you're using the loan and you have to pay the mercenaries off, you're killing your baby money soldiers to pay for that. Exactly. So you have to understand how to use debt when you're the general of your financial battlefield, understanding it for the personal side of it, and you're taking money out from your personal, you're killing your baby money soldiers. But if you're using it from the asset side, where your asset is paying the loan off, you're using your businesses to pay the loans, that's a great way to utilize leverage and to actually get more baby money soldiers onto your battlefield so you can take over even more assets. Understanding that is important. Now, the last one I have written here is charity. You want to speak about charity? Shouldn't we have some of our baby money soldiers set aside?
Absolutely.
And we retire some and we give some to charity?
Absolutely. Do you have any examples of how we've done that or how you see other people do that?
For us, and mom really, I love picking on mom because she doesn't trust anybody. She thinks the internet, everyone's a scam out there. And I sort of agree with her.
It's kind of true.
But for me, if I'm going to do something charitable now, I'm not going to give to an organization that I don't know. For us, we've given to the Franciscan Friars. We've given to the church. We know where that money is going to. I want to be able to direct that money directly to the end user, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to find an institution where you think your money is best positioned and really aligns with your values, and we haven't really talked about it, but this whole baby money soldier conversation really should align with your values. What are your values? And then that'll align with, okay, this is what I should spend for my home. This is what I should spend for any kind of luxuries. This is what I should spend and then save. So understanding what your values are is really important to have the conversation. And when it comes to charity, it's the same thing. We want to really invest and put money to charities that we believe wholeheartedly with our values. And we want to not only just give money to charities, but we want to be involved. We want to be part of the mission and part of the whole organization of what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, that's what we would do we did Thanksgiving and 4th of July for the Franciscan Friars. We would go there twice to 3 times a year, cook for them. And then on top of that, we would do financial donations.
Yeah.
So we see where the money's going and we get to be a part of that tangibly.
So that's great. So you might be saying, well, Dad, you're killing some of your baby money soldiers because they're not going out into the battlefield. But I think there's a part of that in life where we really need to have that and really be grateful and have the gratitude to show, because then all of a sudden you're impacting so many different lives from that. Because the education part is the same. Like you're killing those soldiers. They're not going out to do battle for you, but you're allocating them. And it's to me, it's such an important part of life. Because once you start being charitable and once you start taking yourself out of the equation and thinking of others, life changes when you start doing it. Mike, before we end the show, I'm just going to hold the book up once again. Baby money soldiers. It sounds very silly, but I grew up playing with toy soldiers. I just love them. Remember sitting down on the floor?
Yes.
We'd have a rubber band. We'd put them all around and we'd be shooting a rubber band and just destroying the soldiers. I never thought I'd write a book on finance, just to teach people the simple concepts, because finance is not complicated. It's actually really simple once you break it down and you make people understand what the income is and what the expense is.
I agree. So to recap, do you want to recap all the different missions of the soldiers real quick?
Oh, yeah. So when you're looking at your financial battlefield and you're taking a purview, you've got like a 30,000 foot view. You're going to have to allocate them some to expenses, luxury, right? You're going to have some to save, put them aside because you don't want to kill them all. Just in case there's an opportunity that comes, you want to put money into a deal, you have cash reserves. Or if you have a problem at the home and your car breaks down, you have baby money soldiers set aside for that. You want to be able to invest a lot of your baby money soldiers. That's where the bulk of where I'd want them to put them in, because you want them to continue to procreate. You want protection for your baby money soldiers. So you're going to have to look at the various different insurances, whether it's life insurance, whether it's health insurance, disability insurance, home insurance, all the different insurances, putting that moat around your baby money soldiers. Then you're going to be talking about the education aspect and the charitable aspect of it. So to recap, Michael, seriously, it's a simple concept. You are the general. You have to take control of every single dollar that comes into your life, whether you're making $20 million a year or whether you're making $30,000 a year. It doesn't matter. The key to your long-term success is being able to allocate them responsibly and allowing them to grow. Yeah. We want to thank you for spending part of your time with us, and we will see you on the next Happy Money podcast.